Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here today. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go through a conversation that it seems like I have almost on a weekly basis. Full disclosure, if you feel like this is the conversation you and I have had, this is the conversation you and I and 20 other people have had. It's the same conversation, so I want to replay that and kind of flesh out some of the things that we go through. You're looking at me and now I'm not looking at the camera. This is Nick over here that's distracting me. So if it feels like this is a conversation you and I have had, it's a conversation you and I and 40 other people have had. It's because it's so common. I kind of want to take a little bit of time and flesh out some of the things and maybe talk about some of the ways that struggling entrepreneurs can better their business based on some of these conversations that I've had, because they're so consistent, so incredibly consistent. But before we get into that, a word from our sponsor, My Salesman. You might notice that the shirts are from My Salesman. Now, if you are a fence contractor, My Salesman can help you qualify those leads so that if you are short on time, you're only going to the best prospects. So if you're at all interested, we'll put a link down below. You can get connected with them and stop chasing those leads that are not your customer and they're not qualified. That's what My Salesman's all about, making sure that you only go on the best qualified leads for every sales lead that comes into your fence company. They only handle fence companies right now. So if you're coming to us from a different contracting business, I'm sorry they're not there yet, but they're a great company. Rachel and the team over there at My Salesman, Rachel, Matt, the owner over there at My Salesman, will take great care of you. Let them know that Successful Contractor Mark Olson sent you, and maybe they'll even pay your dues to the AFA for a year. That might be a deal you could work out. AFA is a great organization, and wherever you come to us from, I can't stress enough that I highly recommend getting associated with your professional trade organization in your industry, because that's where you can find the answer to questions like this and the people that are levels above you that can help you answer and work through some of these problems in your business. The best option is always somebody from within your industry that has the heart of a teacher that will field your calls and help kind of mentor you through some of these problems. So without further ado, let's get into it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We're here with Wayne, PJ Construction, who has reached out to me because apparently things aren't going well. And Wayne, how can I help you? I guess I reached out to you. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do with my business. We've been in business for like 3-4 years, I guess, going on 4 years, and it's been hard. I got into this because I'd worked for another guy, and then I thought, you know what, I can do this, and I've got the fence building down, but I'm struggling. I've got tons and tons of work and no people. I can't seem to find any good people, and if I find them, they don't stay with me. So in what areas, Wayne, do you feel like you're struggling the most? Everywhere. I mean, if I had to answer that honestly, I'd like just all of it. Okay. All of it's not good at all. The worst part is the bleeding and the diarrhea. Okay. There's that. Okay. I wasn't quite ready for this, but I think the worst part is I'm depressed, I'm fed up, I just don't know what to do to get out of this cycle. We saw a lot of work, but you know, I can't find the people to help me with it, and I'm working a ton of hours, never at home. I don't get to see my family, and not to mention I'm using old beat up equipment that's constantly breaking down, making me less efficient, and it's just kind of the whole, when I say everything, like I mean everything. But you know, I feel like if I could find some people, like if I could even start by finding some good people. Lots of work and you can't find people, so how are you handling that? Well, I really haven't overcome it. It's just, I look where I can look, and sometimes I'm just going for a heartbeat. You know, they can wake up and drag themselves in and show up on time or reasonably on time. Sometimes I'm not even that. You know, I've got one guy, he's a pretty hard worker, but he struggles to get here on time. That's like my only guy, so I can't really fire him. Kind of want to fire him. He's not great, but he's what I got. He's got a heartbeat. He does spend a lot of time on his phone, TikToking. That's another, TikToks and Facebook and social media and Snapchat. And are you making any money? I think it's making money. I sometimes get paid. Sometimes it's pretty skinny. I think it makes money. Let's maybe look at this a little differently. Is your wife happy with what you make versus the time you give up away from the family to do it? Oh, you're a marriage counselor too, huh? Would she say you're making a lot of money? Oh, is my wife happy? If I was going to answer that honestly, but me being gone a lot doesn't create an easy situation at home. And if I'm being honest, she would probably like to see a little bit more money come home. You know, out of all the effort and stuff we put into this, and it causes us a lot of stress. You know, I guess I stress out and I bring that home, and that stresses her out. And there's days when she asks me why I don't just go work for somebody else again. So what do you want to get out of your business? Man, I like the independence. I guess that's why I'm here. I like the independence. I don't really like a lot of the other stuff. I like to work with my hands. I like to build stuff. I like to be in charge. I like the independence, but some days I don't really want to be in charge either. Does that make sense? You know, there's a lot of responsibility, and when it comes time to make sure all the bills are paid and people are paid and the work's done, I think that's where I struggle. If I could just go out and build fence every day and not have to worry about kind of some of that other stuff, I feel like that would make me happier. And if I could just succeed, I'd like to be making more. If I could get up to like $80,000 a year, that'd be pretty good. So when you're looking for people, what kind of where are you planning on starting, and what are you advertising as kind of your starting salary or starting wage? I try to keep them like $12, $14 an hour. Side note, I said salary. Don't ever, ever, ever try and pay people salary. That's not legal. They're out in the field working. Totally not legal. So $12 to $14 an hour. I have a fence company. I'm looking for people, 12, 14 bucks an hour. Is that something that would excite you? Oh. Why would you go and ask me something like that? Would you be excited about doing the same work that you're asking them to do for that? I guess I'm not excited about it. I'm kind of there. But no, I'm not excited about that. The questions I asked Wayne are very typical of the questions and kind of the sequence of questions that we go through when we have one of these conversations. That's not to pick on Wayne and PJ Construction. He's doing the best he can, and that's one of the reasons that I struggled so badly in the beginning years and even 10 years into it. Oftentimes, if this conversation plays out, what we find out is there were some key things that I learned through that conversation. One of them is I've got lots of work, tons of work, but I have no people. If you're a contractor that suffers from having too much work or tons and tons of work, let's say you're booked out for a long period of time. Maybe the first opening you have is 12 weeks away, 3 months. That's an indication that you're charging too little for the work that you're doing. The other thing is, he says he can't find any help. When you can't find help for the compensation that you're offering, that's an indication that the marketplace is speaking, and you're going to have to offer more if you want to get the type of people that you're looking for. That doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. You're still going to have to work at it. You're still going to get donkeys through the door, and you're going to have to sift through a lot of donkeys to find the stallion among the donkeys. When you raise your rate, that means that the chances of a stallion coming through your door and darkening your door is going to be a lot better than if you're offering a wage so little that the lowest common denominator is going to take it, if that makes sense. So when I tell people that they need to pay a lot more, the typical pushback in one of these conversations is, well, I just can't pay more because I just don't have any money. I can't afford that. It's not bid into my project. Next thing out of my mouth is, well, raise your price. Well, you know, if I raised my price, I'd never get any work. Wait. Like, just a minute ago, we were talking about how you have too much work, you can't get it all done, you don't have the crews, but if you raised your price, you wouldn't have any work. The thing that people really struggle to understand is that if you're good at what you do and you're providing a superior product, price becomes less relative. I'm not going to say it has no impact, but if you can make enough people happy, and especially word of mouth. For example, I went out onto a vinyl job the other day to shoot a video for our other channel, SWI Fence. And while we were there, the owner comes out, and she'd never seen me. Typically, I'm not on a job site, and I just asked her. I asked her point blank, what made you choose us? Oh, well, recommendation. Somebody recommended you, so I didn't even shop anywhere else. How much, in that case, do you think price played a factor? I guarantee you, with 100% conviction, that had she gone out and received another price from one of the other contractors that we compete against on a regular basis, they would have been cheaper. But price had no bearing in that situation, because she heard from another person how amazing we were to work with. And so price wasn't a problem. We can offer our people more compensation for doing the same amount of job, where maybe even in the same town, people are saying, if I raised my price, I wouldn't get any work. My brother, who runs our Cheyenne division, faces more competition than I do up here in Powell. Not to say that there's no competition, but faces more competition. I remember a conversation he and I had about 2 years ago. We were really struggling to start that branch. The branch was new, wasn't up to full speed yet. And I said, you know what, we got to raise our prices. I hate to do it, but all the indicators are that we need to raise our prices. And he said, I can't do it. I'll never sell a job. I'll never sell a job. So he played that same conversation that goes on with so many other people was within my own company. I had my brother that didn't believe that we could raise our prices and still sell work, but he did it. And today, he'll tell you he was wrong. We sell work all day, every day, and we'll know pretty quickly if we exceed what the market will bear because our price is too high. We'll know when we exceed that, because all of a sudden we'll go from, we like to have work booked out a few weeks in advance. And if all of a sudden we have no jobs coming in and we're not selling jobs, and it's the busy season, if we're not selling jobs every week in the wintertime, that's not a really good indicator. But if we're not selling a lot of jobs right now when it's June and we're not seeing those jobs roll in, we might be a little too high. We may have to back it back down, or find ways that we can cut our costs so that we can offer a lower price and still sell work and be profitable. We may have to work on our efficiency. So those are some indicators that we can do. But without fail, the number one reason that people are struggling in their business, the number one reason is they're not charging enough. They think they are, and oftentimes there's no mathematical system that they're using to try and figure out how much they should be charging. So if this is you, get with a professional that can help you figure those things out, help you figure out what you need to be charging. And that's why the last video we released was on how much does my labor really cost me, so that you can try to start breaking that down. The first thing is going to be to create some sort of a budget, so that you know where, if you don't have a roadmap for where you want to go, how are you going to get there? If I wanted to end up in Florida and I had no idea how to get there and I just started following roads, I may eventually get there, but it's going to be a long, windy, rough road. Whereas if I use Google that tells me how to get there, I'll get there a lot faster. So build that roadmap to success, and you'll find that you don't struggle with these things. But every single person, especially in the residential market, this is especially true, because residential customers talk to other customers. And even with Google, customers are talking to other customers, and friends are talking to their other friends and saying, hey, I recommend these people, I don't recommend them. Or if you can even build a good Google reviews, so you've got really solid reviews on Google, you can point to that and say, hey, you know what? Nobody has as many Google reviews as we do. We're doing something right. We're doing everything right. That means that we provide an excellent service, an excellent product. We stand behind what we do, and these other people may or may not do that. And for that, we think that we're worth a little bit more. If you don't think you're worth more, how is anybody else going to think you're worth more? You have to believe in yourself first. And that starts with raising your prices. Lowering your prices to compete is just a race to the bottom. So if this sounds like a conversation you've ever had or you would have, the only way to fix everything is to raise your prices. Profits will solve just about every problem in every business. We sell based on price, service, or quality. You can pick 2, but never 3. So pick the 2 that you're going to sell. If you're going to choose to have a low quality product, maybe you can't raise your prices. But a lot of the guys I talk to are trying to do top-notch work. They care about what they're doing, and raising their prices is the answer. But don't raise your prices without increasing your service level and your quality. So I hope this helps. Be sure to visit our sponsor. And until next time, you have a good dang day.